Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my YouTube channel. The reason why I'm making this video is because I would like to talk about the reasons I've bought this Canon 5D Mark IV. Many people will call me crazy to buy a DSLR camera in 2020, let's say, because we're at the end of 2019. I have very strong reasons why I believe that the DSLR camera is not that. Let me explain you why. Looking at the optical viewfinder versus the electronical viewfinder. That's also one of the choices why I have chosen to have the 5D Mark IV, because I just love the optical viewfinder. It's not a crime, I think. Some people just love the old way of doing photography. I love chimping on my screen. Okay, for mirrorless people, that's a disadvantage. For people that love the old way of doing photography, like chimping on your screen whenever you took a picture, that is what I like doing. So that's why I chose also for the DSLR. It just feels also better to my eyes, because when you use an electronical viewfinder, it's like watching a mini TV in this little thing, and it just hurts my eye at the end of the day. So why would I choose for this kind of camera when I use it that often? And looking or taking pictures watching the big screen, that's not my type of photography. I've been watching so many videos myself about the Sony Alpha 3. The Sony Alpha 3 came cheaper than the Canon 5D Mark IV. I could also take the Canon 5D Mark IV for a cheaper price second hand, but I chose to buy brand new because for me it is still worth it in 2019, definitely. The Sony Alpha 3, after watching so many videos, I've requested to one of my friend photographers to use it for an entire day. After one entire day, I have to say I had the feeling I like, you know, cutting my fingers or like a burn wood, because it was all the time like touchy on a very sharp surface. Then I thought that's not the camera I want, because the camera I want is something I really feel attached to it. There's still an emotional bondage between the photographer and its device. So whenever you buy a device, please take a device that feels great in your hands. If you remember back a few years ago, one of the things that we would advise to beginners is like when you're gonna choose your camera, just take it in your hand, feel it. If it feels okay, then you know it's going to be your camera. Some people are so blind by specs that they will just forget the way how a camera feels. Myself, I'm a very tall guy. I'm like 6'3", that would be 1m93, a little bit depending where you're coming from in the world. I have huge hands. As someone with huge hands, please don't buy the mirrorless camera, because you're just going to be feeling bad. Whenever you're trying to just have it filming, and you do not have any methods to stabilize your camera, whenever you have a heavy camera, you will be much more stabilized and without shake than having this very light camera that makes you shake automatically. Just get the camera you feel right with. The third thing that you should know is whenever they're telling you that the DSLR camera is dead, they should actually try to first look at numbers, because telling the public something without knowing actually the numbers is something ridiculous. If you know the exact numbers, you should know that, for instance, Canon they only have 1% of the customers with mirrorless cameras and 99% still on DSLR cameras. You cannot make me believe that they will stop serving the customers that are 99% with DSLR cameras. Maybe if it's gonna slow down, I do believe that in 1 or 2 years, the DSLR cameras will come back, and it will come back very strongly, because some people will still miss the feeling. It's like something that you could compare with vintage. Vintage is something that will always come back. At a certain time, the Polaroid camera, this one, it just left the world. And then at a certain time, people start becoming interested in Polaroid cameras. So everything go, but will come back eventually. So if you have a DSLR camera and you're considering to have a mirrorless camera just because it's mirrorless, think twice before doing something like this. The total market is approximately at 25% mirrorless cameras and around 75% DSLR cameras. So it still means that DSLR cameras are dominating the market. When you look at the sales, yes, it's very true that Sony is coming very strongly with mirrorless cameras, but that's because they specialized in the mirrorless cameras. Other companies are trying to get back in the race with Sony. But is that the right thing? No, because when you're looking at Canon users, it's only 1% of the Canon users that are mirrorless, and 99% are still on DSLRs or planning to have a DSLR. So don't believe in people trying to tell you that this camera is dead, because this camera is absolutely not dead. If we can believe Rico, that predicts that the DSLR cameras or the pro users will come back in 2 to 3 years, actually it's not the end. So guys, don't believe that the DSLRs are dead. Maybe they will just coexist next to each other. I think they both have a place, but the DSLR cameras, for certain specialities like studio photographers in fashion, they do love DSLR cameras. That's just the way how things works. So don't believe too quickly this information about the DSLR being dead. I think they have still a very bright future. Even some people would not agree with me. That's what I believe. Who am I to tell you? That's a near future that will tell you, and they will tell me. Then there's the other thing. The EF lenses. Yes, you can have the adapter. You can even have the Canon adapter that makes it like native. And I do agree with you guys. It will be native, but it will make things just a little bit longer. Do I want it to have it longer? No, I don't want it. I just want the straight EF mount. The EF lenses, by the way, will still be made. It's not finished yet, because as I said, 99% of Canon users are still DSLR and didn't do the step to go to mirrorless. So will Canon stop giving support to the DSLR camera? No way. They will keep continuing, believe me. And the range of lenses on the EF is so huge. If you look at the second-hand market, whatever you can buy on EF lenses, it's just amazing. You're just gonna have so much fun. And whenever you're looking at all these comments of being mirrorless camera, what you forget, it's like a few years ago when we were giving advice to a beginner, what is important, your body or your lens? That's something that mirrorless people have forgotten, because one of the most important things to invest please in glass. Do not invest too much money in your body, because your body is something that will still be replaced or needs to be replaced after a few years. Your lenses, that's something that should be considered to be taken your entire life with you. So which body you're gonna buy in the future, just make sure that you can still use your glass. That's the right investment to do. So whenever you go to the mirrorless, certainly from Canon to Sony, you will have an adapter, but it will never be the same. You will lose in speed, you will lose in sharpness. So why not have the native one? So I am very proud with whatever I've bought. I know there's many haters of DSLRs. I will have lots of comments, I hope, but I will reply all of them if I can. And that is actually my review of the Canon 5D Mark IV, or more the reason why I bought it, because I think I will make a near review, a true review of this camera. Just let me shoot first with my camera. I already love it. Guys, thank you very much to have watched this video. If you like this video, please press a like or subscribe, and see you next time. Thank you.
Collapse. Fashion photography.